Hello, be very welcome once again to As Above So Below. Today we're going to talk about Venus in Taurus. That's going to occupy this energy from the 16th of March until 11th of April. So what does it mean, Venus switching up to the energy of Taurus? First is in its own domicile. So Venus rules naturally the signs of Libra and Taurus. So this is going to be a full-blown change of energy. Is going to switch up exactly at the same time that the sun is going to transit into Aries. That's the beginning of springtime, and we're going to feel this energy of comfort and the necessity to be comfortable in our own skin, because Venus rules aesthetics and finances and security and investments. So currently it is in the sign of Aries, and we feel like in this very passionate and combative way. Sometimes it's, Venus is quite addictive in its confrontational state. When it is in Aries, we want to conquer, just like the Six of Wands. We want to conquer the other. We want to be the best. We want to secure our loved ones, and conquer people every single day. So in Venus in Taurus is a different energy. It's an energy of being comfortable, in a relationship, in our life, and it's very focused on security and finances, and even in luxury as well. Okay, because it is focused in the sign of Taurus. In Taurus is about the six senses, is about what we can smell and taste and feel and hear and smell. So we're going to be really attuned with our five senses. Okay, so this is going to be, just like I said, from the 16th March until the 11th of April, and it's going to be aligned with other two major transits that we are currently feeling. The first one is the North Node in Taurus, and the second one is the Uranus in Taurus. The North Node in Taurus, it's going to feel like we are pushing our boundaries and questioning what do we feel secure in. Okay, because we already had this conversation last year because of the eclipses, in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. But right now it's like we are questioning again, what do we feel comfortable with? Okay, what do we envision our investments and our relationships in the future? Okay, and because this is correlated with Uranus, and there is going to be a major conjunction with Uranus in the last days of March. We're going to ask we're going to be asked to change the way that we perceive comfort and our investments and security, and the way that we spend our money. Okay, and the ways that we manage our resources. Okay, so we have like three major dates that we must speak about. And the first one is the 24th of March. It lasts like 2 or 3 days, and it's a really sweet time to share something with someone. The moon is going to be in Taurus, so you see we have a lot of major shifts of energy during this entire month. It's really intense. The second one, as I already previous told you, we have in the 30th of March, we have Uranus making a conjunction with Venus. So we have an opening up of possibilities. You can fall in love in the end of the month, mainly if you have if you are a Scorpio or you have Venus in Scorpio or in Taurus, or even if you are a Taurus sun sign, you have this possibility. Okay, so there's a major theme here of being open up to possibilities, because Uranus, it is this very electric, eclectic, and unpredictable energy. We are not sure of what can happen. This could be a not envisioned investment, something that you were not expecting, or to fall in love with someone that is not probably your type, or you have to, spend a lot of or spend money in something that you were not expecting. So be very careful in the way that you spend your resources during this the last, the last half of the month, because with Uranus you never know. Okay, there can be a sudden change, mainly if you have placements in Scorpio or in Taurus. Okay, and the last one is already in April, where we're going to have Venus sextile Neptune, and it's going to oppose to the moon in the 8th house. So this is a quite an intense time, where I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, when we are already in April. But this is a time of changing the way, because we're opening to new possibilities. This time is we are called to be changing the way that we behave. Okay, next to these possibilities that we already received during the end of March. So this is a very unpredictable time, because Venus, people always want to to talk how, how speak how Venus is our comfort zone, is the way that we are so comfortable at home, with our loved ones, and Netflix and chill, and enjoying sex and good food and all those things that are connected to Taurus. But with Uranus in Taurus and the North Node still in Taurus, you never know. It's more like a way of, reviewing and assessing the way that you perceive pleasure, your investments, your resources, and the way that you spend your money. Okay, so we are all called to do this kind of work right now. Because Venus, it is a very feminine. It's a very, even if you are a man, this is your calling to be connected with a very feminine energy. It is a very useful time, because the North Node is going to be in July. It's going to be in Aries, and the South Node is going to be in Libra. So we're going to be, besides this, we're going to be called to balance our feminine and masculine side. Not only be the one that receives, or the one that is going to be proactive. We have to manage to balance both of these energies, okay, the feminine and the masculine. Okay, so because this is all connected to the feminine, I decided to choose 12 cards from the tarot deck of Frank Pinter, tarot, and to talk a little bit of how this trend is going to affect the 12 sun signs. Okay, just I always do. Okay, so the first one is going to be Venus in Taurus. Of course, this is not the domicile. It was going to be, in the second house, and this is, reserved for Aries, the sign of Aries, but we're going to get there. Okay, it's going to be the last one. The first one is going to be Taurus. We're going to talk about Taurus, and I decided to choose what did I decide to choose? It was going to be the Empress. Am I missing a card? I guess so. Just a second. I missed a card in here. Just a second. I'm going to fetch it for you guys. And we're back. I was almost, forgetting that, because I inverted the order, that I started with Taurus, that, was missing something. Okay, and the card that was missing was from Taurus, but I got it. It's already here, so don't worry. So we're going to start about, to talk about how this Venus in Taurus is going to hit your first house. So the first house is all about self, is about ego, is about, being assertive with your own desires, and try to, it's not only to communicate them with other people, is assuring that you already know what your desires are. How do you feel desired? How do you feel full and whole within yourself, how do you satisfy yourself in, in every single way. So because this is not only about recreation, it's about, assessing who you are. In the first house, it's all about me, myself, and I. Okay, so because of that, I've chosen this very particular lady. It is the very and amazing Queen of Wands. She's creative, she's sensual, she's sexual as well, and she's really she usually she's portrayed just like, someone that chooses her own, her own truth, her own happiness, because she's holding a sunflower. In here, she's putting her hand, on her cleavage, and it's, just like, okay, I'm just like pretending to be a modest, but I have a trick or two up my sleeve, and that's it. You only see one hand, the other one is like a mystery. Okay, so I really enjoy this one because she's quite sensual without being overly sexual. And Taurus is all about that. It's all about that class. It's not loud as Venus in Leo, for an instance, but it makes a point. It's classy. It's very classy. So the next one that I'm going to choose for you guys is the High Priestess. Okay, and the High Priestess is the card that I've chosen for Gemini. Gemini, this Taurus is going to hit your 12th house. Okay, and the 12th house is all about intuition. Okay, it's all about merging with your own pleasures. Having Venus in your 12th house, that is the house of Neptune and Pisces, is almost like you have suspended your desires, or you are in this kind of platonic state that you are fantasizing with pleasure, or even putting something on hold. Even if you are in a relationship, you are questioning if this is the relationship that you should be into. Perhaps you suspended something in your life, or you suspended another relationship, and or perhaps you are, just being celibate, and you're trying to figure out where you should, connect to feel pleasure and to expand and to create. So the High Priestess is something, it's a symbol that is very intuitive, but it's also very sexual. We usually have these connections to, and this is so amazing that Ferret Pinter chose to, have both of, breasts, the breasts of the High Priestess shown in here in this card, because usually this is not seen as a very, very sexual card, but it is, because it is the first card that, it appears. This is the second card next to the Magician and the Fool, but is the first card that shows a woman, in the tarot deck. So it's quite special. She's very open with herself, and she's very connected, so she sees every single thing. So during this time, Gemini, I feel that you have to and having this next week, I'm even, because, whoa, you seen the change in my voice? Oh my God. I feel there's so many things that you have to talk about with other people as well, because we're going to have the last degrees of Mercury in Pisces and the Sun in Pisces as well. I feel there's a lot of illusion and confusion next to, your relationships, mainly your romantic relationships. I feel that you are overlapping perhaps feelings, or more than one relationship at the same time. Okay, so, or perhaps you suspended something that you have to assess right now, and use your intuition to do so. Okay, so use your feminine intuition during this time. The third one is going to be work. Oh, and my voice just, just came up just like this. Okay. I really enjoyed this kind of, it's not, sometimes it's not, very comfortable to feel them, but I was feeling like kind of a tingling in my throat. It's well, and you know that Gemini is connected to communication. So there we go. Perhaps you're not, prepared to talk about something that is important to you with another person, or you are connecting to another person through telepathy. I don't know. You have to figure out that by yourself, okay? So the next one, we're going to talk about the effect of this Venus in Taurus in the Cancer sun sign. And I've chose the card of the star because this is falling on your 11th house. And this 11th house is a very particular time for you to, overcome your fears and to connect with other people, because this week is going to be particularly difficult. Yeah, I think the card that that was chosen was the Seven of Wands. It just came up like that, was the Seven of Wands for this week. And this is, the last degrees of Mercury in in Pisces. And now Mars is almost changing into Cancer. So I feel that you are, trying to overcome some obstacles and trying to connect with the collective, because the 11th house is all about the connections, finding, or finding pleasure in your connections, in your relationships with other people, and your friendships. The strength that you can draw from those connections are really intense during this time, and they are going to be the source of all your comfort right now. Okay, so this is the thing. It can happen that you fall in love with a friend, or there can be, a friend that wants to be more than a friend, okay, during this time. So the next one is going to be Leo. Leo, this Venus in Taurus is going to hit your 10th house. So I've chosen this amazing card that usually is, presented with a woman surrounded by, a very amazing, crop, and she's developing herself into this independent and fruitful woman. And we have a really amazing representation of that in this card of the Nine of Pentacles of Ferenc Pinter. She's surrounded by nature. This is Sun in Virgo. So this energy in here is of someone that is improving by herself. So this is the energy of being assertive and disciplined, okay? Because this is in the 10th house. The 10th house is the house of Saturn and Capricorn. So you're going to transfer this feminine energy into being disciplined and being accomplished in your work and in your career, okay? This is an amazing card. So it's probably that you hear a lot of compliments during this time, and you probably the field that you're going to be or feel more, pleasure, or and draw more pleasure from, is from your, your profession, your work. And this is going to be quite amazing, because Leo is so creative that you're going to feel that, that the source of your pleasure are the things that you are creating right now, and that it is probably recreating your whole life, okay? So this is the other one. So we're going to move into Virgo, and I've chosen the card of the Temperance, because this is hitting your 9th house. And the 9th house is not only the card of, it's not only the house of Sagittarius. It talks about, Jupiter and development and expansion. So perhaps you are feeling the necessity to expand your vision and your life, and to travel, or you're feeling quite attracted to something or someone that it's not, not, it doesn't belong to your in your circle of friends, or perhaps it's someone that you find quite exotic. It can be like that, sometimes the term being exotic, or being outside the normal circle that you travel, um, because the ninth house is all it's also about traveling, but it can be someone that doesn't come from the same cultural background or has some different values, or a perspective of life that is completely different. You can fall in love with someone that is almost also older than you, or is a master, or is your teacher, because the ninth house is also the house of the father and the teacher and the master and the guide. So I feel that this card is a sign that perhaps you're going to find pleasure from teaching, or studying, getting back to school as well. And there can be perhaps a very parental figure that you feel really attracted to. If either if you are a man or a woman, doesn't matter. It is the figure of a guide. Or perhaps you are feeling more compelled um, to focus all your attention and into, I don't know, just connect to a certain kind of philosophy of life, or studying really hard something, and forgetting everything else. But I feel there is someone that you feel that is a guide in your life, a guiding light in your life, and you're going to be there's something is going to develop during this time. Okay, that's it. So the next one is Libra. And Libra, because it is going to connect with the eighth house. I've chosen a very, very intense and quite dubious card. I was not going to be the more obvious, that is death, and death is not a woman, okay, is an entity. So for me, I've chosen the moon. Okay, this is number 18, and this is the moon. And because Frank Pinter represented this as this woman that almost turns into a wave as soon as she hits, as a foot enters the water, enters the sea, and she goes. It's as she sorry, as she enters, the water, she almost becomes the same element. So the moon is all about depth, it's all about emotion. And this is the in the eighth house. I feel that you are going to feel something really intense by someone. It's possible that you're going to feel this with such intensity that you're going to ask yourself, who is this person? Why do I feel about this, this situation, this particular situation? Perhaps perhaps they're going to be someone or something that is going to pull you into a certain kind of depthness that you never thought that existed in your life. Perhaps you never felt that way in your life. And this could be, connected to anything, because the eighth house is about merging, is about identifying emotionally with something. So you are connecting with your emotions. You are truly connecting with your emotions, but you can feel a little bit lost in the process. So be very careful, because the eighth house is the house of death, is about the house of regeneration. It's the house of sex and giving birth to something. And it's almost like a transfusion. You are feeling this kind of intimacy with someone during this time, and it's going to feel very powerful. So beware, or perhaps you're creating something and you're going to feel quite lost in your own creations. So take care of it, okay? So the next thing is that we're going to talk about is Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, this Venus in Taurus is going to hit hard your seventh house. And I was going to choose the Queen of Cups because it's so evident with the seventh house, this hitting your seventh house. It means that you are focusing on perhaps more of one-on-one connections. I feel that, has become a little bit tiresome from the last 2 weeks. Perhaps you are craving um, a more intimate interaction with other people. So the collective is not satisfying your needs. So I feel that you are trying to focus on one, your partnerships, and perhaps you're going to start a relationship, okay? Or a partnership during this time, okay? Because this is going to feel, this is going to feel really fated. I decided to choose the justice card, okay? So it is like just you're going to feel that this was kind of, destined to be like that. I could have chosen the wheel of fortune, but the wheel of fortune is not a woman, isn't she? So, and because love is blind, actually, I felt that this was going to be, perhaps you're going even to feel, pulled in two different directions. And I don't know, this is quite intense. Yeah, this is quite intense. And so I feel that you really need that connection of one on one with, even if it is in work. I feel that, big groups have, drained a little bit of your energy, and you're, trying to focus more on the type of energy that's more intimate, and it's more, focused on only one person. Okay, that's it. So this is the card of justice for you guys, Scorpio. So the next one, we're going to talk about Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, I found this card particularly interesting for you because it is a Three of Pentacles. Right now, you are really focused on your money, on your finances, and because this is going to hit your sixth house, and that is the house of routine, of work. I feel that you're going to find real pleasure in working with other people. Perhaps the conditions in your job or day-to-day work are going to feel more pleasurable to you. Perhaps your home, the things that you're doing at home are going to feel more pleasurable to you as well. And I don't know, I feel that you're going to have people that are going to try to cooperate with you. Perhaps you're going to change your own routine in, in a way that you feel less stressed, and perhaps you're going to start to see beauty in all the little things, because Sagittarius have been, a rush of energy since last year, in December. So I felt that I don't know, you fell in love, you fell out of love, perhaps you started a family, and now you're worried with your finances. And I feel that your focus is really on cooperation. Try to figure out a way to work with what you have right now. So Venus in Taurus is going to hit your sixth house, and the sixth house is work and health, okay? And perhaps you're going to try to figure out ways to be a little bit more healthier, okay? That's the other thing. So perhaps you're going to feel for the first time that sport is a really, pleasurable thing to do, or eating in a healthier way. Who knows? So the next one is Capricorn. And Capricorn is going to shine really during this week. And it's going to shine, during this transit of Venus in Taurus, because this is going to fall on your fifth house. And because it's going to fall on your fifth house, I've chosen the card of the strength, okay? And strength is this beautiful and powerful woman who's opening, and she's risking her life to, to continue, and with a lot of patience, she's opening the mouth of the lion. And, this is a triumph of love over fear. That's it. That's the thing that's representing these cards. And this is one of the best, if not the best card of the whole deck. Ferret Painter really, was really a master at this. It's amazing. This card is so beautiful. So this is going to fall on your fifth house, and the fifth house is the house of Leo. Therefore, I've chosen this card, okay? So you're going to feel really attractive, really romantic. You're feeling that you're going to risk something, and to fall in love, and perhaps um, you're going to feel quite creative, or you're going to fall in love during creating something, or perhaps you're going to have children, or you're going to dedicate your time during this period in, giving life to something, or gardening, or I don't know, something, because this Venus in Taurus is completely aligned with, Virgo and Taurus and Capricorn. So this is this is quite beautiful to see this energy of giving life and birth to something. Okay, and I feel that you're going to feel really connected sexually with someone. I feel that you're going to feel really compelled to create, to give birth, to give life to something. And perhaps you're starting a new phase of in your life, a new job, a new relationship, a new creative project. So go for it. Okay, so the next one that we're going to talk about is Aquarius. And I was going to choose this card for Scorpio, but I ended up, choosing for Aquarius, because this Venus in Taurus is hitting your fourth house, and the fourth house is the house of Cancer, is the house, a very really emotional card that is connected to the house and our roots. So I feel that Aquarius, during this time, you're deepening your relationships, your connections with your loved ones, and that you are assuring that you feel comfortable in your own house, in your own shoes. Okay, so perhaps you're going to work from home, or going to feel quite, grounded and want to work from home. Perhaps you're going to improve your place, your home, and perhaps you're going to try to, discover something about, your family, because really you're going to feel really happy during this time, and you're going to, the thing that I'm seeing, this is almost like you are redecorating your house, because Venus is aesthetics, it is connected to your home. So perhaps you're going to redecorate your house, you're going to change, um, perhaps you're going to, buy a new house, or you going to try to feel that you're more at home in your own home, through the redecoration, so that's it. Perhaps you're going to establish a connection with someone in your family that, that didn't, that kind of link didn't exist. Perhaps you're reconnecting with someone from your family. It's going to be a woman, a sister, a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, something of that sort. Okay, so but it's going to be a really happy place to be right now, with this Queen of Cups, and this Venus in Taurus hitting your fourth house. So the next one is going to be Pisces. Okay, and Pisces, this is the Queen of Swords. Okay, I've chosen the Queen of Swords, don't get me wrong, I'm Pisces myself, but I feel that this Venus hitting the third house, we're going to feel really intellectual, really logical. It's going to be, okay, I have an idea, let me expand this idea with you. We're going to travel a little bit. We're going to find pleasure in traveling, or traveling connected to knowledge, or work, or a project. So the Queen of Cups in here gains a new meaning, because knowing what we know with Saturn in Pisces, and the recent themes that we are, have been talking about Pisces during this time, and the way that we are, feeling that we have restructure our own life, that I feel that we're trying really hard to be more assertive, okay, and less willing to save every single person, and be at a service at, at every single person that we meet, and be more assertive with what we want to say, our desires, our dreams, the things that, that really belong in our lives. So this is a very important time for us. Okay, Mercury is leaving Pisces, it's going to be in Aries. So if you have anything in Aries, this is going to be a really quite assertive time, and we're going to be really focused on communicating and expanding, and communicating these ideas and these thoughts to other people. Okay, so this is the Queen of Swords. She's known by, cutting communication and stopping communicate with other people, and this is a symbol of that, to be more assertive and to try to figure out who are the people who are, willing to establish an interesting connection with us. Okay, so the next one is Aries, and this is going to fall on your second house, Aries. So I've chosen for you the Queen of Pentacles. I was going to choose the Empress, but I'm going to talk about the Empress in, the last, it's going to be the last card that I'm going to show you. I've chosen the Queen of Pentacles because the Queen of Pentacles is the mother, is the caretaker, someone that is willing, um, as someone that is really willing to work hard to establish, uh, it's not only about status quo, but establish security. Okay, so during this time, it's really, there's a high probability that you are feel more secure, that you want to invest more, something that feels luxury to you, like luxurious, just like, I don't know, clothing or traveling, but it's more like about, material stuff. And perhaps you will going to want to invest in your image, perhaps, and your home, your finances are going to be amazing right now, because Venus expands everything. So it's not Venus that expands, it's Jupiter, but Venus in the second house, it's in its own domicile, so expands, usually expands. Okay, so be careful not to expand, too much, because Jupiter is in your sign, dear Aries. So there can be like really amazing gains, but you're going to spend a lot of money as well. So be very careful and try to, you know, um, take this time to, I don't know, try to reorganize your finances, and um, perhaps even, I don't know, like, what is the word? Um, Save. That's it. You'll have to save a little bit more money. I think it's a good opportunity for you to save money. If you're gaining more money, if you're making more money, to save something. Okay, so this is your card. Someone that really focus their own security, that takes care of um, herself. I feel that Aries and Taurus are feeling this energy quite, in a very intense way of taking care of themselves, their um, their own bodies and their well-beings. Okay, so this is it. This is the feminine energy of someone who knows what they want. Okay, regardless, once again, if you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the last one that I wanted to show you is the Empress. Okay, this is the card that I didn't choose for any placement, any sign, because this is the card that symbolizes this transit. This is Venus in Taurus. Okay, and Venus in Taurus is all about beauty and fertility. Okay, as well as, Venus in Libra is almost the same thing, but Venus in Taurus is more focused on fertility, of, expanding something and giving birth to something. So this is these are, 12 very distinctive feminine energies. There are energies who are more receptive, more introspective, I can, from the top, Venus in Taurus in the first house is more selfish, is more worried about herself and her image and her ego. Gemini, in the 12th house, the high priestess is more focused in her, in her inner world, her dreams, and perhaps she has something that is being expanded. Perhaps pleasure comes from imagination and not reality. Okay, so in Cancer, the 11th house, the star pleasure, it's a more proactive energy of communicating with other people and drawing some kind of pleasure by networking and being connected with friends. Leo is the pleasure that we know, and the feminine energy that is going to be put into work, and be creative in work in Leo. Virgo is the feminine energy of balancing something, the difference between you and your another person, and learning from that person. Libra, we have the 8th house, the moon. We're going to feel, it is the feminine energy of analyzing the depthness and just, I don't know, just allowing yourself to feel that kind of deep, deep emotion. And it's quite confusing, but it's good as well. Don't worry, because the 8th house is all about transformation. So it's a kind of emotion that you are feeling that is going to transform you deeply. And then we have Sagittarius. The 6th house is something more, more practical. It's the energy of managing something. Women are so good in doing that. The feminine energy is so good in doing that, managing something and organizing. Capricorn is creating with the 5th house. Aquarius, the 4th house, is feeling, being connected to your family. And Pisces, of communicating, using this feminine energy to communicate, or try to figure out who you should be communicating with. And then Aries is this Queen of Pentacles that is going to show you the way into, being more assertive and secure, and assuring your security in your finances, the structure, having a structure around yourself. So this is the Empress, and she is connected with all these energies. Okay, she is the feminine. Okay, and she has all these elements of status, of expansion, of beauty, of fertility, and she's all that. Okay, she's all that. She's Venus. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this small, because I usually do more extended readings, but 30 minutes, it's okay. I guess so. I guess it's okay. So I hope that you enjoyed this. This is a kind of reflection about feminine energy, but I want to do a more serious video about the feminine and masculine energies, and why tarot and all the divinatory arts in general are such a good example of how art can be inclusive. Okay, because this is not about gender, this is about energy. Okay, so this was all for now. I hope you enjoyed. This has been elucidative for you, and educative, and entertaining, and perhaps a starting point for you to acknowledge your own feminine energy, regardless if you are a man or a woman. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Many kisses, over and out.